Oh, g'day, I didn't see you there. Hi, my name's Jules. Today we're going to be learning how to make mortadella. I wanted a healthy sandwich meat that I can feed my 1-year-old son that doesn't contain excess salt, any salt actually, E numbers, preservatives, etc. and something delicious that I can have on a homemade sandwich. So we're going to be making mortadella. Equipment that we're going to be needing today is the hand crank home mincer. Does what it says on the box. Pretty simple stuff. I found this in a second-hand shop. It's, I don't know how many years old, works fine. Food processor, cutting finely, all gonna work. I just happen to have one of these. The thing that is pretty necessary is this machine here. It's a cylinder. I bought it on Amazon. Comes with a thermometer that goes in. From there is a bayonet connecting lid. Inside is a pressure plate and a spring. You pack this full of the meat that we're going to make in a moment, up to about here, boom, pressure plate on top. Then press this down, locking it in place. That's a little bit tricky, but you'll pick it up. From there, thermometer in. Cooking process is submerge it in water up to about there, bring that to 80 degrees for 2 hours. Take it out, let it sit, put in the fridge overnight. Next morning, turn it upside down and bang it. There's a bit of a trick to it, and I'll show you how. Highly recommend to spread olive oil on the inside of this and on the inside of the pressure plate before you put the meat in. Makes it a little bit easier. That's the equipment. Ingredients for today. I'm using, this is beef short rib, or I'm in Norway, so this is called a bibringe. You'll see it's got a good ratio of meat to fat. There's also some bone. I'm going to cut that off. I'll keep the bone, put it to the side, make bone broth or bouillon for stews, pretty much anything. I'll put it in scrambled eggs. It's delicious. So we've got a fair amount of that. So it's making a beef mortadella. Boom, pistachios, plenty of spices. I'm only going to be using 2 spices. That will be garlic powder and smoked paprika. Plenty of. For colouring, we've got, so last night I cut up and boiled 2 beetroot and then reduced it down to this. That will give the mortadella that pink ready colour. Jeez, looks like I'm bleeding already. And a little bit of sweetness. Not much colour, not much flavour, it's more for the colour. And then you don't have to use any artificial colours. So beetroot juice, pistachios, beef, garlic powder, paprika, bingo, bango, done. Right, let's get into it. Right, so this is the short rib. So far, these are the bones I've removed so far. This is a good bit, plenty of meat, but you see there's these little pieces of rib here. Not being fancy, boom, get rid of that. Put it in here and I'll boil that up for bone broth at a later date. That's about the strip I'll be running through the mincer. I know mortadella is meant to be, you know, if you want to be correct, it's pounded in a mortar and pestle, hence the term mortadella. I'm running it through, and I'll only be running it through once because I don't have the time, and I'm just trying to make something simple. I'll have a pretty coarse mince, so it won't be a finely pulverized mortadella, but it will come out good enough for me and I will enjoy it, and I think that's all that matters. Yum. And that, I think, is a good ratio of beef to fat. Delicious. Okay, so I have boned all of the short rib or bibringe. Got myself a whole bunch of strips looking a lot like that. Buska. Next thing I'm going to do is run it through the hand crank mincer. One ingredient I forgot to say was binding agent. This is corn flour. Normally I would use potato flour, just realised We don't have any, so I'm going to be using this. It'll work fine. Cool. Right, let's go. Bang. Get in there. Let's see if this works. Oh, fantastic. You want to see this? It's fun. It is coming out really nice. So this particular mixing machine, oh, look at that, beautiful. Yeah. This particular machine is called a Husqvarna, and growing up in Australia, I was always familiar with the brand Husqvarna. They make motorcycles, chainsaws. Turns out it's actually a Swedish company that doesn't make motorcycles or chainsaws. It makes Husqvarnas, as in Kvarna is to mince, Hus is a house, or Husqvarna, not Husqvarna or husky. There you go. A little bit of information for you. Let's get back to the kvarning. Looking good. All right, so next is spices. I'm going to be adding the binding agent. I'm using corn flour. Hey Jules, what measurements are you using? I got no idea. What I'm doing is just mixing to what looks correct to me. I've split the mince into 2 pans to make it more manageable. Just get in. Yep. Hey mince. You look like you have enough corn flour. Excellent. Right, boom. Paprika, how much? So it looks like there's enough. Paprika, boom, 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 boom. Get in there. Delicious. Bang, bang, bang. Perfect. All right, garlic powder, how much? Enough. Beautiful. Bang, excellent. Okay. Mix it. Bah. Now, you could do this in a mixing machine, for example, KitchenAid or something like that, but it's easy. You can do it yourself. Don't need fancy equipment. Oh yeah, looking good. Get your hands into it. Yeah. Would you like to see what it looks like done in a KitchenAid? Sure. Okay, so mince, spiced. Next we need to add the colouring. How much? I've got 1 jar, therefore each one gets half a jar. Good measuring, Jules. Good measuring. Bang. Next. Pistachios, how much? Enough. Fucking delicious. I love pistachios. Right, perfect. Mix it. Come here, KitchenAid. Hi, KitchenAid. Thanks for coming. In. Go. Right, that's mixed enough. It should come out looking red and delicious, just like that. It smells fantastic. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is pack the cylinder with the mortadella mince we've just made. Pro tip, bit of olive oil inside the cylinder. Smudge it around. There you go. Bang. And some on the underside of the pressure plate. Perfect. Right, what I'm going to do next is measure the cylinder, tear 0. Now I'm going to fill it, and whatever that weight is what I'm going to try and get all of the backup bags I'm going to put in my freezer too, so that whenever I take one out, I'll know I can fill one of these cylinders. What I'm doing is taking a handful, like so, put it in like this, and then just smudge it in. Bang, bang, bang. You're going to be good. Alright, so I filled it that much, which is about 2 here. From there, pressure plate on, push, get seated well, and then I'm going to put the lid on. Little bit of a trick, line it up, and press directly down. Bang, locked in place, thermometer in. This is going to go in the fridge until I've finished here. From there, I'm going to take this out and simmer it at 80 degrees for 2 hours. We'll be ready for brunch tomorrow. Okay, so the filled cylinder, ready to be put in the water, is in the fridge. Now, I'm going to bag up the remainder of my mortadella mix. I know that the weight of the meat in the filled cylinder is 1 kilogram, just over 1 kilogram. So I want to get all these bags to 1 kilo. It looks like I might have 3, maybe 4 mortadellas. That's only $7.91. Maybe I'll get 3 mortadellas. So hopefully a month, might get a month of sandwich meat out of this. That's what it looks like. Beautiful. Right, keep on going. Bang. And this is how we want it to look in the water. So you'll see that it is at or above the level where the meat is. For information, this is the machine, if anyone wants to buy it. It's made by the Maddox company. It is the Pression Jambon, otherwise known as the ham maker. Absolutely fantastic. Couldn't recommend it enough. Hi. My name's Jules, and welcome to the future. So, our mortadella has been sitting in the fridge overnight. We're now going to take it out. Boom, thermometer, lid, bang, and it will look like that. You'll see on top there is a layer of fat, and underneath that will be a layer of collagen, otherwise known as flavour. I'm going to keep both of that to roast potatoes and fry things in the fat, and I'll add the collagen to sauces, for example, tomato sauce for pasta. So I'll run a knife around the edge between the pressure plate and the cylinder. Bang, perfect. Then I'm going to take charge of the spring and apply firm pressure, constant firm pressure. Oh, that is perfect. There's a layer of collagen, a layer of fat. Perfect, that is exactly what we want. I'll put that to the side for a moment. This fat is perfect for roasting potatoes. There's our mortadella. I want to keep that collagen, and we'll call it splatter. Bang. Delicious. Right. This is the trick. That's the noise we want. It's starting to move. There we go. Boom. And that is what it looks like. Bang. Not super pretty, and not what you would see in, say, a delicatessen or a supermarket, but it is real, and it will taste phenomenal. Look at that. That is fantastic. And that is how you make mortadella, or my version of mortadella. Next up, gonna be making a sandwich. If you want to know how to make easy homemade bread with instant yeast, not sourdough, not fancy, just a good loaf of bread, like and subscribe, ask in the comments.